الحمد لله رب العالمين. نحمدك اللهم سبحانك كما ينبغي لجلال وجهك وعظيم سلطانك. نحمدك اللهم آناء الليل وأطراف النهار معترفين بسلطانك حامدين شاكرين لنعمائك. ندعو الله سبحانه وتعالى أن يديم علينا نعمه ظاهرة وباطنة، وأن يلهمنا العزم والعزيمة والصبر والثبات على أن نحمده على تلك النعمة. اللهم آمين. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، يحيي ويميت وهو حي لا يموت وهو على كل شيء قدير، شهادة قامت بها السماوات والأرض. ندعو الله سبحانه وتعالى ألا يحرمنا إياها لحظة لقائه. اللهم آمين. وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله وصفيه من خلقه وحبيبه، أدى الأمانة وبلغ الرسالة ونصح الأمة وكشف الغمة وتركنا على المحجة البيضاء ليلها كنهارها لا يزيغ عنها إلا هالك. اللهم اجزه عنا خير ما تجزي به مرسلا ونبيا. اللهم شفعه فينا شفاعة لا نعذب بعدها أبدا. اللهم اسقنا من حوضه شربة لا نظمأ بعدها أبدا. اللهم آمين. محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم طب القلوب ودواؤها، وعافية الأبدان وشفاؤها، ونور الأبصار وضياؤها. صلى عليك الله يا علم الهدى، ما هبت النسائم وما ناحت على الأيك الحمائم. My dear respected brothers and sisters in Islam, sons and daughters of the future of Islam, inshaAllah Rabbil Alameen. We're still tackling that question of, are we still at the same level of Iman and Taqwa during the month of Ramadan to nowadays, or it is less, or it is the same, or it is more? And we're trying to find out if it is declining, if it is decreasing, what can we do? And the answer was a few weeks back, there are specific things we have to do after the month of Ramadan in order to keep that momentum of Iman, faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the taqwa, fearing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, following the teaching of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the teaching of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam for the rest of the year, the 11 months, inshaAllah, to keep more connected with Allah, to have the highest level of happiness in our life ever, and not only in this life, but in the hereafter. Do as much as we can to be on the side of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What we have looked at so far, if we can do, this would enable us to keep the same level of Iman of the month of Ramadan when it comes to our Salah, the 5 daily prayer, khushu' in the Salah, qiyamul layl, i'tikaf, sadaqah, the charitable contribution you can give away, and silatul rahim, how you take care of your kin, the kinship, your relatives, especially your parents and anyone else within your extended family members, to take care of them. And last week we talked about at-tawbah, repentance to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because we are human beings, we have our shortcomings, we have our mistakes, so we have to make tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as much as we can, as Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam used to do. 70 times, 100 times a day, he used to make istighfar to Allah, asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive him, and then repenting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why? Because we are sinful, we are human beings, we have our shortcomings, we have our mistakes, and we have to do that tawbah as much as we can. Today, inshallah Rabbil Alameen, we'll be talking about another means in order to keep our level of taqwa and Iman for the rest of the year, inshallah Rabbil Alameen. As you remember, when we're studying the month of Ramadan, and when we're looking at, it wasn't only just fasting the month of Ramadan by abstaining away from food and drink. This is one of the practice of the month of Ramadan. But also in the Siyam, how we would do our best, as hard as we can, as much as we can, to keep our thinking, our brain, our mind, our eyes, our hearing, our tongue, and our heart fasting as well. They have nothing to do with food, but each and every single one of them has something to do in our relationship with people around us and the atmosphere we're in. How you keep your mind fasting? How's your vision, eyes? How's your hearing and ears? How's your tongue? And how's your heart as well? We put a lot of emphasis on those things, how to be away from not looking to bad things, as Quran is teaching us. Say bad things in ghiba, in namima, in backbiting, in slaughtering, or say whatever, against anyone, not in favor of him or her on them. Let's today focus upon one thing. In order to know how we deal with that issue in our life, though for a lot of people it is maybe easy or maybe so difficult. But we will see, according to the Quran and the teaching of Islam, teaching of the Hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, how extremely important that issue is when it comes to our tongue. Our tongue. What we're saying, what we're uttering. Whether we'll be indulged in ghiba, backbiting, or namima, slandering. How this tongue could be kept in the best shape ever. And this might help me to be away from a lot of trouble. Not only with myself, but in relationship with people around me. With Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first, with myself, with my spouse, with my children, with my parents, with the members of the community, with everything around me. How you guard this tongue as much as you can and as hard as you can. It is wallahi, subhanallah, extremely important, because what we say is going to be in our record. It's going to be there, and either to be taken against us or in favor of us in this dunya, and in the meantime, in the hereafter, that tongue will speak either in favor of you or against you. So we have to watch what we're saying. What ayat of the Quran Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us to learn from? First, when we speak, if there is a maslaha, if there is a benefit, if there is a way of teaching, if there is a way of giving an advice, don't keep quiet. Give it. That this is something good, we have to do. We have to do. And we have to be careful even when we're giving that advice or that counsel, when we're teaching, when preaching, and so on and so forth. So this is here, as we know in the teaching of Islam, al-kalam al-mubah, what is permissible to say, and what is not permissible to say. We have to totally keep quiet. Man qala khayran aw liyasmut. This is the hadith, or part of the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Either to say something good according to the definition of good when it comes from Islam, the teaching of Islam. Because some people say what I'm saying is good, but no, it is not consistent with the teaching of Islam. Good, it means consistent with the teaching of Islam. If it is good, say it. If not, keep quiet. Keep quiet. Keep quiet. The ayat of the Quran teaching us that in one of them, in Surah Al-Hujurat, وَلَا يَغْتَبْ بَعْضُكُمْ بَعْضًا أَيُحِبُّ أَحَدُكُمْ أَن يَأْكُلَ لَحْمَ أَخِيهِ مَيْتًا فَكَرِهْتُمُوهُ واتقوا الله إن الله تواب رحيم. See how highly connected the tongue and what we're saying with the ghaibah, with the backbiting. With the backbiting, it is what my tongue will be saying against someone or behind someone's back, or just say something, never be there, never happen, and so on and so forth. So, O you who believe, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is addressing the believer, because sometimes it would come from the believers, not from average people. Yeah, someone will say, I believe, I'm a believer, I'm a mu'min. Yet, watch your tongue. Watch what your tongue says. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اجتنبوا كثيرا من الظن. اجتنبوا كثيرا من الظن إن بعض الظن إثم ولا تجسسوا ولا يغتب بعضكم بعضا أيحب أحدكم أن يأكل لحم أخيه ميتا فكرهتموه واتقوا الله إن الله تواب رحيم. You will see in here some specific things are really highly related. O you who believe, avoid much suspicion. Now here we're talking about the mind. When I become suspicious about someone, Islam is telling me, you believer, avoid such a thing. Shaitan would come and tell me, oh yeah, he's such. I'm not saying. I'm not speaking. I'm not sharing. But it is what comes to my mind about that person or those people. Avoid much suspicion. Indeed, some suspicions are sins. Yani, why it says some suspicions are sins? It means some other ones are not. If I think of you in a good way, this is my run of you, but in a good way. So this is, alhamdulillah, something good. He's good. She's good. They are so wonderful people. They are watching. They are worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and so on and so forth. So I would, نحسن الظن. I think of you the best way ever. But if it is the other way around, being suspicious of someone in a bad way, in a negative, oh no, he's not good. He's such and so. Oh, you remember what he said the other day? You remember when we were talking to him? But this is to me. So we have to avoid it. We have to avoid it anyhow. Otherwise, there would be sin. And spy not. Some people would like tajassus. Spy not. This is totally in Islam forbidden. In any acts of spying. In the language of nowadays, someone would hack your email and find out, your messages and your communication and your Facebook and so on and so forth. Or sometimes some other people would try to find out in an indirect way something about you. Search and petition and so on and so forth. All of them. Either individual or community or society or even nations. So we have to avoid such a thing. And spy not, and here is the comment, neither backbite one another. The backbiting. It is now the tongue. Al-Ghiba. It does involve my tongue, and I speak to someone. It comes from that level of being suspicious or spying to talking. And what is talking? It is me. What organ of me? It is my tongue. About who? About someone. And of course, we keep talking. He would say something, I would say something, you would add something, he would add something, they would add something. You would have a wonderful, great scenario to put that person or those people in the worship ever of ghaibah. Totally forbidden in Islam. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is teaching us that would one of you like to eat the flesh of his dead brother? This is exactly the ghaibah. Exactly the tongue. Would any one of you would like to eat the flesh of his dead brother? Just his dead, and you bring him out and you start eating from that flesh of that dead body of your brother. This is ghaibah. وَلَعَذُ بِاللَّهِ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put it in that way in order to tell us, never do. To remind us, if I do that, if I say that, something negative, bad about my brother, my sister, my brothers, my sisters, my people around me, as if you like to eat the flesh of that dead brother. You would hate it, so hate backbiting and fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Verily, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept repentance, most merciful, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. See how serious that issue is, but it is really unfortunate. Some Muslims are not paying attention to such a thing. So during the month of Ramadan, no, don't talk about those people. Don't talk about those. No, it's haram. It's totally forbidden. Once we're done with the month of Ramadan, now it is okay to talk about them. No. As we have done it elegantly, in a good way, according to the teaching of Allah, teaching of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, during the month of Ramadan. After the month of Ramadan, I have now enough energy, enough iman, enough taqwa, not to have my tongue indulged in such things, bad things, slandering or backbiting. This is one of the ayah of the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us, وَلَا تَقْفُ مَا لَيْسَ لَكَ بِهِ عِلْمٍ إِنَّ السَّمْعَ وَالْبَصَرَ وَالْفُؤَادَ كُلُّ أُولَٰئِكَ كَانَ عَنْهُ مَسْئُولًا. If you know not about something about that brother or that sister or those people in the community, don't be indulged in talking about them. Don't make yourself the most knowledgeable person ever to talk about those specific issues when it comes to that brother or that sister. I know, I can tell you. He is doing such and such. I have seen him. I have heard about him. And you voluntarily, you keep talking about someone without knowing. There is no knowledge whatsoever. We're not telling the truth, we're telling lies about that person. So we have to be careful. Why? إن السمع والبصر والفؤاد كل أولئك كان عنه مسؤولا. When I hear something negative, bad about anyone, when I see something bad, negative about someone, when something comes into my heart about someone in negative way, I am held accountable for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for that. I am trying to purify myself, my soul, my heart, my tongue, my mind, my vision, my hearing, in order to be clear and clean and purified. So my relationship with people, no one would come and question. No, don't relate to that person. He always give his tongue the free way to speak, to be indulged in backbiting, and so on and so forth. So this ayat of the Quran is telling us here more and more and more. ما يلفظ من قول إلا لديه رقيب عتيد. The ayah of the Quran. Whatever we say, whatever we utter, there is a raqib. Yani someone is watching over you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, first and foremost. Don't think nothing would be recorded. Now somebody say, oh, let's stop. No one in here is recording anything from us. No, there is. Don't think of a tape recorder or someone who's spying on you. No, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching over us, and everything has been recorded, and it is in our record. It's in our deeds, good or bad. They are there. ما يلفظ من قول إلا لديه رقيب عتيد. So it is extremely والله أنا أخوات extremely important يعني especially when it comes to chatting rooms, when it comes to we're speaking over the phone, or we're together and we have nothing to do, just let's have that meal of that brother or that sister to eat up that dead flesh of my brother. Be careful. Be careful. The best way, if you have to do it, sometimes say, يعني أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. I seek refuge from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from that shaitan who would keep feeding me of something negative and bad about that brother or that sister. No, I do not want to be. Or if someone starts saying something, I say, can you switch the channel? Let's not talk about the brother. Let's talk about how's the food today. You know, how is the weather today? How is this and that. But a brother, no. A sister, no. A community member, no. Please, let's find out. In a very polite way, very decent way, very kind way, we don't have to. Otherwise, if I listen to him, I have to participate. He cannot keep talking to me and I'm listening and saying nothing. I say, no. You didn't see it this way. I see it this different way and so on. No. Say, Jazakallah khairan, please stop at that point. If you have to leave the scene, wallahi, leave it. Leave it and say, excuse me, I'm in a rush. I have something else to do. I do not want to be in that business. اعلم أنه ينبغي لكل مكلف أن يحفظ لسانه عن جميع الكلام إلا كلاما ظهرت فيه المصلحة ومتى استوى الكلام وتركه في المصلحة فالسنة الإمساك عنه لأنه قد ينجز الكلام المباح إلى حرام أو مكروه وذلك كثير في العادة والسلامة لا يعدلها شيء. Be safe. Something good to talk about and it would lead to a maslaha, to good things to be done, be part of it. If not, say, Assalamu alaikum, I'm out. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu arda, in a hadith of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, as we have seen in the Quran, also seen it in the hadith, in Riyadh al-Salihin, this is my reference by the way. من كان يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر فليقل خيرا أو ليصمت. Ya Allah. If you really truly believing in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the hereafter, what is the proof? Well, you can claim whatever you want to. I believe in Allah. Good. I believe in the hereafter. That's great. Wonderful. But prove it to us. Give us the evidence that you do believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and in the hereafter. فَلْيَقُلْ خَيْرًا أَوْ لِيَصْمُتْ. Say good things or be quiet. Simple.